I would like to clarify, every year, this is a figure released by the WHO and CDC, that every year 250,000 to 500,000 people, they die because of flu and influenza. And in 2017, 650,000 people died across the world due to flu and influenza. So this is not an extraordinary thing to have this time. The virus has been in our environment and in our body before, and this was not noticed by the mainstream media or the government. This only started happening in January. They tried to propagate that in a way that this is the most lethal virus. Viruses are in the air and people are dying. We are all here. Nobody's going to die. I tell you, I give it to you. 650,000 people die because of the flu and influenza virus every year. This is the official figures I'm quoting. But this has been it has been orchestrated to appear that this is some deadly virus which is different than the coronavirus which exists in our body. We've got millions. We're not denying that coronavirus doesn't exist. I'm a scientist. I know. Nobody can tell me that coronavirus. What is coronavirus? Coronavirus does exist. We know that, but this has been orchestrated in a way to introduce as SARS-CoV-2, and the WHO on the 11th of March said this is COVID-19. And this is a hot topic. This is extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. And I can say very confidently that this virus, coronavirus, is present in our fluids. And this is not something which is extraordinary and started emerging now. RT-PCR test is totally false. That's the scientific evidence. I tell you what scientific evidence is. This test was designed by Terry Mullis, who was an American biochemist. He introduced this test to check the microorganism, but he also said that this test should not be used as a reference for any microorganism. But we have still been using it. Means people who are test positive doesn't mean that they are infected and they need hospitalization and they need to be quarantined. They don't. Because if you quarantine these people who are having COVID-19 positive test, it means you are cutting down their lifeline. You are depriving them of from the basic fundamental rights. You are pushing them into a trench where they are going to stay getting depressed, isolated, and anxious, and many people die because of that reason. I received a letter summoned by my regulator asking me to appear. I had no clue prior to that my appearance at the media would be taken so drastically, which I have full right, according to the Human Rights Act 10. I'm allowed to speak to the public. I'm allowed to express my point of view. Anybody can hold its point of view. Anybody can express. It's not a band of freedom of speech. We are proud of being British, and we have got tradition of speaking the truth and express our viewpoints. So I was not given sufficient time. I cooperated with my regulator as a part of good medical practice and being a good doctor. I requested for some time to get my legal inputs. They declined my two requests. I went to the hearing meeting. There I came to know that there is a bundle, 247 pages involved for my hearing, which I was not provided before. I had no clue. That all my allegations they put in, 247 pages, was possessed by the General Medical Council, all the 6 tribunal members there, except me, who was a victim. On my request, they provided me that bundle attached with the email at the time, during the time of the hearing. I was told to go through that bundle within 90 minutes and come back. I requested for adjournment, which was declined. I came back to the hearing again, and there, honestly speaking, I was not able to grasp the 247 pages in 90 minutes. Nobody can do it. Maybe I'm not good enough, but people can decide what exactly my feeling would be. So I went back, and they suspended my license to practice for 12 months. For speaking the truth, what I'm saying now, I said this at the same time. I said same thing at the same time, and millions of people across the world, they appreciated what I said. And I'm very grateful to all of you who have come here to support us. This is what I'm going to. I worked in this country in medicine for 35 years, and I believe on equality and justice. I believe on freedom and humanity. I have never discriminated anybody on the basis of the language, color, race, individuality, or religion. Absolutely. That's my crystal clear record. Working 30 years here, 5 years before. We are all human beings. I respect human beings, and I have no doubt that I have been treating humanity and saving lives. I am very proud of being part of the health system in UK, but I feel my dismissal is unfair, illegal, unwarranted. I have been targeted or any public member at all. Have I made any damage to the member of the public? That was the allegation that I am dangerous to the public. Because I'm telling the truth. Are you all dangerous to the public because we are standing here? My crystal clear record with the General Medical Council is sufficient evidence to prove that I have been a good doctor. I looked after my patient well. I kept very good relationship with my patients and my friends and relatives and public members. And I have not discriminated anybody on the color, race, religion, or individuality. I believe we all are born equal. We are all same. You know how I can say that? I am a surgeon. When I operate people, the color of the skin is different. Could be yellow, could be black, could be brown, or could be any color. But when I go deep to the skin, I see all the organs are same. Blood is same. All the patients are same. Belonging to any part of the world. The blood is same, the liver is same, the intestine is same, the liver is same, the thoracic cavity, the lungs are same. So why would we ridicule people on the basis of the color and the individuality? I don't believe in that. So I stand by you with the truth. I'm a surgeon, but I witness on this time of day, I witness you, I'm a surgeon, what I find is equality in the human being. And I am going through a very difficult time of my career. So with the family, children, my reputation has been damaged by the regulator, disregarding my 30 years of service in this country and 5 years prior to that. And I deserve justice. I deserve to look after my patients. On one side, they have been telling, they had the slogan, stay home, protect NHS, save lives. People are asked to stay home, so they have saved NHS. But how many lives we have saved? We could have saved better lives than we have now. So on that basis, I remember the beautiful quote by Churchill. He said, "If you are going through the hell, keep going. One day you will come out of that." Don't worry about that. People are with you, public is with you, and all the medical professionals of the entire world, they are listening to my talk. This is a message across the world, to the public, to the people, to the professionals, to stand up for your right, your fundamental right, protect yourself, life to pay my tribute to 300 overseas health professionals that lost their lives, but their contribution and their minority contribution cannot be forgotten. More than 60 to 60% of the NHS workers belong to ethnic minority, but they're working very hard. They have got family. They have broken ties from their family back home. Realistically speaking, come here, work hard. After 30 years, they are suspended, removed, and erased from the register. So what happens? The health professionals who should be helping the public, they end up into depression, isolation. They lose their medical license. They go for odd jobs. And so many have suicided. They have died. And I have got the record of people dying because of the removal, erasure, and suspension from the General Medical Council. Do you think this is justified? No. But this is a big decision to suspend somebody, to remove somebody from the register, without thinking that this valuable person who has spent significant time for learning medicine, wherever in the world, he is the most beneficial person for the health services. And that should not be deprived of. There are many ways to make an advice, right? To have roundtable discussion and to take the things forward, but it has never happened. So I'll pass a resolution with your permission that this authority by the General Medical Council should be shifted to the government or the Court of Justice for suspending somebody or removing from the register. Do you agree? And GMC should look after the health professionals, the valuable health professionals who are useful assets for the public. They should not be ridiculed, not be discriminated, and the trial should be fair, and government should be able to decide when GMC thinks this doctor professional is not good enough to work in this country. That should actually go to the Court of Justice to decide, when both parties would have equal right to explain themselves, because most of the health professionals, they are unable to go to the court due to financial reasons. So at this time of day, I'm grateful that you all agree and we pass this agenda, and we are speaking on 29th of August in Trafalgar Square. Huge protest. There, millions of people are joining from different parts of the world. We have monitors within the Trafalgar Square. Dozens of monitors connected with Germany, with America, with Asia, with Far East. If we are talking this, you must come there and stand by with us for your rights. This is the time. This is the time to stand up. Make it today. I'm very grateful to you, and I'm going to end up on this quote of Confucius. And he said, "Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but is rising every time we fall." So with this, I would say thank you to
Martin Luther King Jr. famously said, "Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter." From the moment this pandemic agenda has started at the beginning of this year, it has been a never-ending assault of intense mind control, fear-mongering, conflicting information, terror, rigged and falsified data, daily press briefings, all with the support of the mainstream media and the government behavioural insights team, also known as the nudge unit, reporting back and advising on how best to deal with us, and at one point in March, reporting back to the government that we did not feel personally threatened enough by the virus strain and increased measures would need to be taken against us. The Behavioural Insights team official statement reads, "We apply behavioural insights to inform policy, improve public services and deliver positive results for people and communities." Really? As USA physician and politician Ron Paul has said, COVID-19 is the new terrorism. If something doesn't feel right, just research history and you will find some very powerful answers. Hitler seized power in 1933. It took years of systematic brainwashing, indoctrination and propaganda, coupled with a crippling depression and economic collapse, in order to get millions of people to be complicit in crimes against humanity. To get the population to participate in and facilitate his dirty work. Is that what they do? Hitler didn't kill 6 million people alone, his collaborators did.
Yes! Release that over there!
As the Nazis' victims were queuing up outside the gas chambers, many believed that they were going for a shower. As humans, we struggle with the notion that other people would want to inflict harm onto us. But indeed, that is what is happening. The evidence is all around us. Albert Einstein, who managed to escape Nazi Germany, said, "The world will not be destroyed by those who do evil, but by those who watch them without doing anything." How many more times do we have to say, never again? How many more times must humans suffer underneath the fist of control and dictatorship? Be in no doubt, each regime has its spin doctors, its propaganda machines, its mechanisms for promoting and spreading that propaganda, and cleverly repackaging and repurposing the same dangerous narratives every single time. We cannot allow this takeover to happen, because due to the technology available, it can enslave us and manipulate us like no other despot has ever done before. Winston Churchill famously said, "Those that fail to learn from history are doomed to repeat it." Let's not repeat it! Hitler's propaganda mastermind, Joseph Goebbels, said the following: "The essence of propaganda consists in winning people over to an idea so sincerely, so vitally, that in the end they succumb to it utterly and can never escape from it. Propaganda works best when those who are being manipulated are confident that they are acting on their own free will. If you tell a lie enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it." This is coming from Joseph Goebbels, the mastermind of the Holocaust, or one of them. If you are wearing a face covering and promoting the false narrative and lies, you are complicit in the agenda to remove everybody's rights. to voiceless submissives. They strip us of our personal identity. They remove our smile, our ability to breathe and communicate like a normal, functioning human being. They are a human muscle and have been used for centuries by tyrants to silence, dehumanize, ridicule and shame their victims. Just go and research it. The people, so we're talking the government here and their paid off puppets, that you must wear these and they know that they are bad for your health. Their own scientific and medical advisors have made them aware of this multiple times, including to us, the public, yet people just blindly comply. Why? Because they're scared of getting a fine? That's going to be the least of their